So let's dive into a really fascinating idea. What if the key to solving your most stubborn, chronic health mysteries, the stuff that just won't go away, isn't in another protocol or some new diet, but it's actually been hidden in your own DNA this whole time? We're going to explore that deep connection between your genes and your gut.
Does this hit home for you? Maybe you've been there. You're just exhausted, totally confused, and you're second-guessing every single thing you put in your mouth. You're doing everything right, you're trying all the treatments, but the relief, it just never, ever seems to last.
And it shows up as this just relentless cycle of symptoms, right? The bloating that makes no sense, the weird reactions to foods you used to love, that brain fog that just refuses to lift, or maybe for you it's skin stuff like eczema or gut problems that swing wildly from one extreme to the other. These are those super frustrating, unexplained issues that can make you feel like you're chasing ghosts.
Okay, now here is a totally different way to think about this. In the tech world, when something isn't working the way people expect, developers ask a really simple question. Is it a feature or is it a bug? They're trying to figure out if the system is actually broken or if it's working exactly as it was designed to. So, what if we ask that same question about our own bodies? What if those symptoms that drive you crazy aren't a sign that your body is broken, but a sign that it's operating perfectly according to its unique genetic blueprint? The idea is these aren't bugs we need to fix, but features we need to understand and, work with. Honestly, just shifting your perspective like this can be a total game changer.
To really get this, we have to look at the instruction manual itself, our genes. This is where we can start to find the clues that explain why our bodies might have these unique features in the first place.
Now, the key to all of this lies in something called a single nucleotide polymorphism, or SNP for short. I know, it sounds super scientific, but don't let the name scare you. All an SNP is a tiny variation in your DNA. It's like a single letter being different in a gigantic book. These tiny little changes are what make each of us unique, and they can have a huge impact on how our bodies handle everything from the food we eat to the stress we're under. And this is absolutely crucial to understand. Your genes are not your destiny. They don't just, switch on and start causing problems all by themselves. What they do is create predispositions. They basically set the stage. And then your life, things like stress, infections, your diet, that's what determines how the play actually unfolds on that stage. So how does this genetic blueprint actually create a direct line to all those frustrating symptoms we talked about? Well, let's get specific and look at two huge areas, the gut and histamine reactions. Now, check this out. This is a real quote from someone who had one of those incredible aha moments. After struggling for years, they looked at their own genetic data, found a specific variation on a gene called FUT2, and suddenly their horrible gut situation finally started to make sense. So what on earth is this FU2 gene? Well, it plays a massive role in the health of your gut lining and the kind of bacteria that can actually live there. Certain variations can give you what's called a non-secretor status. All that really means is you might have a weaker gut barrier and lower levels of good gut bugs, like Bifidobacterium. This just makes you more vulnerable to imbalances, or what we call dysbiosis. It's a perfect example of a genetic feature that just means you need a different approach to your gut health. All right, let's talk about histamine. You know that feeling of getting flushed or itchy or getting a headache or even anxiety after eating certain foods? A lot of the time, that's histamine intolerance. It's not a real allergy. It's an issue where your body just has too much histamine because it can't break it down fast enough. And, you guessed it, your genetics plays a starring role here too. The main character in this whole histamine story is a gene called AOC1, and it makes an enzyme called DAO. Just think of DAO as the cleanup crew for any histamine you get from your food. The problem is common SNPs, those little variations, in this gene can seriously slow down how well that enzyme works. So if your cleanup crew is understaffed, histamine starts to build up, and that's when you start getting all those mysterious reactions. And histamine doesn't just come from food. This right here shows us a major source of histamine from inside your body, your mast cells. They're part of your immune system's first responders. When they get triggered, they release a flood of chemicals, and histamine is a big one. For people with conditions like Mast Cell Activation Syndrome or MCAS, these cells are just way too overactive, leading to all these widespread, seemingly random symptoms. It's another one of those root causes that often gets missed. So we've seen how our genes can set us up for certain issues. But remember what we said.
they only set the stage. The real story, the part that matters, is what happens when that genetic blueprint meets the real world.
And this isn't just a nice idea, the science backs it up. This quote comes straight from a scientific paper that was studying that exact DAO gene we talked about, and it's so important. The researchers found that just having the genetic variants wasn't enough to cause the problem on its own. There has to be an interplay, a kind of dance between your genes and your environment.
So what does that dance look like? This is where it all clicks. On the left, you've got the genetic blueprint, those DAO variants, that FUT2 non-secretor status. And on the right, you've got the triggers from your environment. A high histamine diet can pull the trigger on a DAO variant. A bad gut infection can set off issues for someone with that FUT2 variation. You see? It's the combination that creates the symptoms.
Understanding this interaction is so empowering. Because think about it, you can't change your blueprint, but you have a ton of control over the triggers. And that knowledge transforms your genes from being a potential problem into a personal roadmap for your health.
So you might be thinking, okay, this is cool, but how do I actually do this? Well, it's way more accessible than you'd think. First step, you get your raw DNA data from a consumer service. Second, you take that file and upload it to an analysis tool. Some of them are even free, and they'll spit out reports about your health genes. And third, and this is the most important part, you start connecting the dots. You match up your unique symptoms to your genetic data, and that lets you stop guessing and start being way more targeted with your approach.
If there is one single thing that you take away from all of this, let it be this. For years, you might have felt like your body was betraying you, or maybe even that your symptoms were all in your head. But the truth is, you're not crazy. You are simply unique. Your body is just operating on its own very specific set of instructions. And that's really the final thought I want to leave you with. Your genes are a roadmap. They are not a life sentence. They give you the incredible power to understand your own body on a level you never thought was possible. So the real question is, what could your unique blueprint reveal to you?